You cannot know God, at least not fully, unless you know yourself. And that goes back against Ephesians chapter 6, I think that was 11 or so, where it talks about you should guide, after you put on all your equipment for war, after you're ready, you have everything you need to be able to fight in this world. The final thing that holds everything together, it says guide everything with truth, right? Guide everything with truth. That's being able to hold things together. What is truth? There's no truth without knowing yourself, because yourself is the reality of being you. A lot of people are lost because they are scared. They don't know themselves, and even the little they know of themselves, they are scared of it. They are scared. They're so scared of themselves. They want to be every other person. But you cannot succeed in life trying to be every other person. No matter how good any other person is, they are not as good as you. It's not any other person you need in life. It's you. You are the one, that needs to face life. So we use the word that you have to lean into yourself. You have to embrace yourself. Because no matter how bad yourself, there's the good part of you that is God has given you to face life with. Anyway, don't let me take Toba's time. I'm going to run on to Toba's slide now.
Yeah, today we have a little something to quickly wrap it up with chapter 3 of the book, and then we'll be talking about following your higher potential. Like we can see on the slide, we have hidden calling and higher potential coming together. And we need to understand that our hidden calling is that which God embedded in us. And we need these. They both go together, actually, like I said, simply because, like we talk about career and calling, we see higher potential and then hidden calling also going together. And it's just like potential can be, related to like an untapped well. That's why John Maxwell was saying sometimes in one of his books that talent is never enough. That is, we have something in us that is to be developed and worked upon. The process of working on this hidden calling is following our higher potential. Our hidden calling is like something hidden in us, and then following that higher potential, something that is untapped in you, that God has embedded in you, which is like higher than the things we are running after, the things we are pursuing. That's what makes it the higher potential. Now, in more details, what do we call higher potential? Potential is like, as we know it, an unrealized ability. It is what we can do, but which we are yet to discover that we can do. It is something that is deep inside of us. It's an embodiment of our talents, our gifts, which we came with from heaven. And most of the time when we get here, sometimes we may not see this because it's like a reservoir, something reserved in you, and it has to be explored or exploited before it can start flowing outside. We also need an understanding here. In one of the slides, I was talking about our attitude and the higher potential. That our attitude, it's a very key thing in following our higher potential, because the attitude that somebody puts forth sometimes, it might look negative, and then as the attitude is negative, we tend to believe that there is nothing good out of this that can come out of this. But sometimes within the bad in quotes, there's actually a good thing. That's the attitude. The attitude that we have towards issues. For instance, somebody that is strong, if somebody is very strong, he might be using the strength, if he has the right attitude, in the negative direction. On the other side, he might be using it in the positive direction. And so our potential may look negative sometimes if our attitude is not right. And then we need to look deeply into that and see how to reshape our attitude. Like somebody might be seen as maybe a talkative, take for instance, and then the same person who is a talkative may make a good lawyer or a good journalist. So, but if he doesn't pick it from a right perspective and understand the right attitude, let's say, for instance, it's a talkative, is an argumentator, whereas this person could have also built that same potential hidden thing in him that people are criticizing, and then build it to make himself a good orator, a good lawyer, a good journalist, and other things like that. And so we need to understand the place of our attitude in following our higher potential. Now let's look at it more closely. How do we follow your higher potential? I have three things here on how you follow your higher potential. Number one, you discover it. Number two, you develop it. Number three, you deploy it. Discover it by thinking, by tarrying, by trying, and by traveling. How to put that? Because sometimes we can't do without prayers. Though this is not completely religious, but at least we must understand the place of traveling, praying, seeking God. The other thing there is developing it. Talents have to be developed and then deploying it, putting it into use. Let me look closely at each of those points before I wrap it up. Number one, I said discover it. Discovering your higher potential. Thinking comes first there. Thinking is highly demanding, and then it's brain tasking. There are a lot of problems in life that we cannot achieve if we don't think. And that's a great problem for many people, or let me say a great challenge. Many don't think. They are not thinking about their life, their children, their plans, their purposes, their pursuits. In life, we must think. It's not just thinking in a shallow way, thinking deep. I read one of John Maxwell's book. He said he set aside time that he always think. And so following higher potential demands careful thinking. When we think carefully, we have answers to questions like why, what, where, who. Why should I do this thing? What should I do? What time should I do this thing? Where should I settle? Where should I go to? Where should I not go to? Thinking solves lots of problems. The next one there is tarrying. There is always a waiting period. Tarrying is waiting. Getting to some heights require waiting. We need to wait for our turn also to get some opportunities in life. There is a chance that has been created, but you may not get to that chance immediately. You have to wait for it. You have to wait for the opportunity. But while we are waiting, do we just sit down, just thinking and waiting and looking, lying fallow? No. That leads to the next one, which is trying and testing. Trying and testing is like building up. Only fools wait and just do nothing. Some people might just be waiting. I remember sometimes I wrote about some group of people who are waiting for somebody to hire them. They were just waiting, they're doing nothing, and they were lying fallow there. And so in waiting, you must try and test your potential. It's like test running something. It's like trying to check up this thing that I've been building that I need to develop. How is it going to be? In the course of discovering it, you have to try and then check it up. And then we see the last one there, which is traveling. That's Ben Carson was talking in one of his books. He said, I always want to say my prayers. And that involves when you have done your own part, you have played your part, you commit the rest to the hands of the Almighty God. So if you have played your own part, God will play his own part. But there are people today who also spend all their time traveling, praying, doing nothing. They are like waiting and praying and wasting away. I used to tell people that God will not do for you what He has given you power to do for yourself. You have to play your part if God will ever play His part. And God has played His part universally. There are universal laws that works for people. If God says give, it shall be given unto you. If you don't give, nothing will be given to you in return. If you say sows and you will reap, if you don't sow, nothing will come out. And so we play our part. When we play our part, we'll leave the rest for Him to do. We see the last two issues there, developing and deploying. Developing is very similar to the process of discovering, especially in the areas of testing and trying. We have methods, and then we need to test run, to try it, to check it out, and see how it's going on. Does it worth it? How does it come up? When you develop, you train yourself in your talents. Don't say talent is never enough. You don't just sit down and just say, okay, this and this is what I have embedded in me. There must be a time of development for that potential, that higher potential to come into limelight, to come out. And so there is a need to test and there is a need to try. You try new things. I feel like I can sing. Let me try by singing this. Can I sing duet or solo or this or that? You
Yeah.
try things
Yeah.
and then deploying, which is the last stage there, is about launching out. Two basic issues comes up here: come out and come up. If you hide yourself, you won't come out. How? If you come out and then you don't come to stage, you don't come to the point of speaking, you are just quiet, you won't also be able to deploy the things that are embedded in you. And so that is coming up, coming to a higher level, coming up higher, coming to a point of showcasing the hidden things that God has put into you. After you have tried, you have tested, you need to deploy, you need to come up higher and come to a place where you can actually put that thing into use. That's very, very important for us to take note.